Welcome to First and 30. I'm Nick.
And I'm Antonino.
We're two 30-something-year-old guys who take the best ultimate reality television show in this hemisphere, American football, through 4 uncensored downs of mostly unbiased opinion and some analysis.
In a game broken down into 10-yard segments, we take it with you one step at a time.
That's First and 30.
Let's go for it.
Yes, I can see clearly now because, Antonino, the NFL schedule has released, which means we know who our teams are playing, when they're playing, who they're up against, what week, where they're going to be playing at, and how we can get tickets for these games. Welcome to the First and 30 podcast. How are you feeling, Antonino? It's been a few weeks.
My eyes, they're salivating with all the amazing football we have ahead. NBA playoffs, take a back seat. NHL playoffs, get out of here. The NFL schedule releases here. What will the NFL scriptwriters cook up next?
That seems like a precursor for maybe an episode to come. Right. Well, man, I'm glad that we're back. And I don't know if you wanted to say this, but I think I'll take the liberty. Just as a side note, we got a new following name. So for those of who are listening to us, we're kind of playing this through. And do you want to reveal it, Antonino, just to see what the reaction might be like?
We have a new name for our following, and it's called The Chain Movement. All right,
Chain Movement.
We have a worldwide following now, and not only do we move the chains on the football field, we move the chains in life, baby. So the chain movement.
Heck yeah. Let us know what you think, though, everybody. So we wanted to kind of bring the listeners together, be a part of this movement. You're following First and 30. We want to show recognition along the way, but the chain movement, I think it's catchy, man. The movers.
Like it. Let's do it.
Movers. Cool. Well, do you want to give a quick episode overview before we kick things off?
Absolutely. All right. We have a new segment this week for everyone. It's the 2-minute drill. We give you everything you need to know right up front. First down, get your popcorn ready. We got the biggest headlines and matchups and which game might we attend in person. Second down, what are the primetime games? When the lights turn on, what should we expect to be seeing? In second down, we're also going to give you all the fun facts like usual. Third down, top 3 hardest schedules, bottom 3 easiest schedules. What is it looking like? And lastly, like usual, I like to make all our listeners a bit of change and a lot of money. We have money-making over-under win total projections.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to digging into it. So before we get into first down, you kind of hinted at this. Our 2-minute drill, our inaugural 2-minute drill. We're going to have to practice this more and more, but how about we try to act on our fastest 2 minutes? I'm going to pull a timer out here too, just to make sure that we do keep this under 2 minutes and deliver on all the hard-hitting facts and news that has broken over the past 2 weeks. You ready for this, man?
I can't wait. Let her rip.
All right, timer starting now.
We have post-draft action, and by action, I mean 212 million actions. That's how much Jared Goff is getting in his new contract. 4 years, 212 million, 175 million guaranteed.
Well, you know who's not getting paid, Antonino? That's Najee Harris. His rookie option was declined by the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that means he's missing out on 6.79 million guaranteed right off the table.
Yikes. That sounds almost as bad as the Broncos' new jerseys that they released called the Mile High Collection. More like Who Was High Collection. These things look awful. Albeit the old Bronco D logo looks good. The Giants also have a terrible release of their Michigan Wolverine jerseys, and the Jets got some new jerseys as well. All new jerseys.
Well, we also had a lot of wide receiver news. Tyler Boyd signs a deal with the Titans.
Mid, OBJ taking a role reduction in Miami. He signs on to go down south.
And Bills add Marquez Valdez-Scantling to the wide receiver room, so wide receivers shuffling and being signed.
But let's move to a GOAT. Tom Brady himself appeared on Netflix and he got roasted. It was hilarious. Kevin Hart was in on it, the Gronk himself. If you didn't see it, tune in on Netflix.
I did see it, and it was funny, but he wasn't the only guy that's been roasted here this past week. Harrison Butker has been roasted all over social media for sharing his 1950s worldviews on women and other individuals in a commencement speech. So if you haven't seen that, maybe ridicule him.
So cringe, almost as cringe as Greg Olson taking a $7 million pay cut as he becomes the number 2 analyst behind none other than Tom Brady.
And finally, OTAs have begun. Drake May, JJ McCarthy look awful. 2 minutes right on the dot. We did it, man.
Yes.
Wow.
I knew we had it in us. Yes.
All right. So with that and without further ado, how about we kick things off? First down, man. What matchups are you most excited to see now that the NFL schedule is released?
All right, I'm going to start with one the same way we started last season. Aaron Rodgers runs out on the field, American flag. We got that meme of him 30 seconds worth of the season he played last year, but he's back this year and he's in San Francisco on real grass, folks. Okay. So Aaron Rodgers goes to San Francisco week 1. It's been so long since we've seen A-Rod. How's he going to perform? Is San Francisco going to just end his season early again? Ooh.
Oh, man. And you know what's eerie about that? It's also the Monday night game. So Jets fans are holding their breath. Maybe don't have him running out there with an American flag. You know, he's got to watch out for that Achilles. But yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I was looking at the schedule too, and one that stood out to me was this Baltimore versus Los Angeles Chargers, which is going to happen on week 12. It's a Monday night game. Are we already dubbing it the Harbaugh Bowl again? 2.0?
Yes, that's right. They're back. And this time, one of the brothers is not with the 49ers, but a different California team.
Yeah. Jim is now with the Chargers. He will be coaching up against John. That should be an interesting one. Were there any others that you were, I guess, just taking a look at that caught your attention there?
Well, I got my popcorn ready for all these games, but if I had to pick a couple more here, first week of the season, the Kansas City Chiefs in a rematch against the Baltimore Ravens. Conference championship rematch. I'm upset the game's in Kansas City. I feel like these schedule makers always help these Chiefs. And not to mention the second game, they're at home again to the Cincinnati Bengals. So yes, they do have to go through the gauntlet that is the AFC North the first 2 weeks, but both games are at home. Ugh, frustrating.
What do you think about that as a Bengals fan? Are you nervous that your Bengals have to go to KC and face the defending Super Bowl champs?
As long as Burrow's healthy, he'll go into Burrowhead Stadium and he'll get the win, no
Oh
problem.
my gosh. Well, who won the Super Bowl last year? It wasn't Joe Burrow.
I have short-term memory.
Well, I know we were both looking at this and talking about that Minnesota Atlanta game. Can you believe Kirk Cousins? You think the schedulers they did this on purpose, making Atlanta go to Minnesota in week 14? Kirk Cousins returns home. Do you think he's even going to be the quarterback at that point?
Jeez, I'm not even sure he can take the knife out of his back in time for that game. Like,
What do
poor
you
guy
mean?
just can't catch a break. I hope he's the starting quarterback come week 14, but we shall see.
I would be shocked if Michael Penix replaces him by that point in the season. Everybody's thinking Atlanta is going to be in contention for a playoff spot. Kirk Cousins a big factor in a part of those plans. So that might be a juicy matchup, though. Atlanta, Minnesota, week 14. A little bit of, I'm curious how the fans are going to react to.
Yeah, on the other side of the ball, is McCarthy going to be starting for the Vikings? Sheesh.
Oh, yeah, forgot about him. What are there? Oh, Sam Darnold's the backup, right? Or
Yeah,
presumed starter. So it could be him.
I'm looking forward to that one.
What other games did you see, man? What else are you looking forward to?
Oh boy, the Pittsburgh Squealers got a couple new quarterbacks, and week 2, you're gonna see Russell Wilson playing Sean Payton, his old coach. So talk about payback.
Oh,
Who's
hmm,
at fault here?
wow. That's a
Yeah,
quick turnaround.
yeah. Assuming that Russell Wilson is the starter, which we're not sure of just yet, I'd like to see him get some serious payback because I remember a couple of games last year where Sean Payton just let her rip, like he was digging into this poor
Yeah.
guy. So, and all he did was produce, but he got the bench, and now here he's gonna get a second chance at redemption.
Yeah, that's going to be an intriguing one. I'm actually rooting for Russell if he is the starter at that point. A lot of people think though that he might be riding it in as the backup to Justin Fields, but we'll see there. I had two quick ones related to the 49ers as well. They're going to be playing Miami in week 16. I just think this is a compelling matchup. Both teams were obviously very relevant last year, but there's also the historical context by both of these franchises coming in. Miami could have been in the Super Bowl if they stayed healthy last offseason or in the postseason and they didn't have to play in the cold. And then, we have the Chiefs and 49ers rematch Super Bowl week 7. So those are both going to be two intriguing, juicy matchups. I can't wait to check out too.
You know what? I'm just gonna throw everything off the table here, flip the table. Wait a second. The Bengals have a primetime game, folks, and it just so happens to be against those Cowgirls in Dallas, I believe.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, man?
Hey, do you have plans in the fall? Because we could book a couple flights right now.
I kind of want to check out the tickets. I think we should go to this game.
Jerry's World, watch out. First and 30s coming to the big house.
Ooh, you know what? What if we recorded our podcast out in Dallas after my Cowboys beat down Burrow and that overpaid offensive line that the Bengals have?
I agree with half of that. The other
All
half will be to be determined.
right, all right. Well, cool. There's a lot of big, juicy matchups. How about we move into second down, though, man? And let's highlight some of the big primetime games. And I think you gathered a few fun facts as well.
As always, the preseason. I mean, how are we starting this thing off?
What is it? The Hall of Fame game. I think we got the Bears and Texans. So that should be intriguing if Caleb Williams gets a chance to play. Texans have CJ Stroud, which I would doubt he would even play in this game. So, yeah, that's a compelling one. Do you ever watch the Hall of Fame game?
Absolutely. That is, to me, that is prime time because that's the first taste of football we
Hmm.
get in almost 9 months. So when you say prime time, you better believe everyone's watching that game. I think millions of people tuned in last year. So you better believe it.
Yeah, but usually in that game, none of the starters are playing. I would watch it though just to see Caleb Williams play. I think that's compelling enough for me to tune in for the first drive or two.
Yep. But let's move to the regular season. What do we got kicking the season off?
So opening week, and this was kind of cool, man. We have Thursday starting off Baltimore and Kansas City, so the AFC Conference Championship rematch.
Mm.
What are you kind of looking out with this one?
Geez, the Ravens, are they going to completely abandon the run game again? Like, what was that last year? I think if they stick to the run, that's their formula for success more times than not. So, what will the Ravens come out with here? They do have to go to Kansas City again, so it won't be an identical rematch. But the Ravens this year, like last year, they have 16 more days of rest than the opponents. So, they're going to be well rested this year throughout the season. Like last year, they had a big break last year as well, but the Ravens always getting all the breaks.
How do they have 16 more days? I remember that as a storyline last year. So, and you're probably saying that was a big influence for them having the success they had since they had not
Mm.
1 week, but 2 more weeks of rest than most teams.
Yep, the way these schedules go, if you play Thursday and then they happen to have the bye week the next week, and then the next game was on a Monday, so they only
Hmm.
played one game in a span of like 20-ish days.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Baltimore. I don't think they'll abandon the run this time. They just signed Derrick Henry, so you factor that into their game plan. I'm already making the game pick. Baltimore beating Kansas City. You heard it here. May
Ooh,
whatever,
I like it.
17th. uh, you know what is also cool, and this was the first time I've seen this. We get a Friday night game too, right after this Thursday game that starts. We don't have to wait till Sunday. We get the Packers and Eagles on Friday, second game of the season. How freaking awesome is that, man?
I love it. Any day with football is a good day. But Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't matter what day of the week. If there's football on the day of the week, I love it. I'll watch it. And the lights are going to be even brighter because this game happens to be in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in
Mm,
South America, the first ever game in South America.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Where did you dig that info out?
Oh, insane. So they're going to be playing in Corinthians Arena. Never heard of that arena. Curious if it's cool looking. I know it's not the football they're used to, so I'm sure they play the football in the Corinthians Arena, but
Mm.
they'll swap out for one day.
Yeah. So that would be cool. We got Thursday and a Friday. And then Sunday night, the Rams are going to go to Detroit. So that's going to be a rematch of the divisional round, right? Divisional round playoff
Hmm.
matchup. And then we cap things off with the Jets going to San Francisco. And I know we just mentioned it. Let's try this again, A-Rod. Let's maybe not run out there with the American flag. Do some calf stretching before you get on the field.
Yeah, I think we're all cheering for him here just to stay healthy. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else to note on that game?
The 49ers, they have 4 games versus teams coming off the bye, so they're about to get the best of a lot of teams in this coming year. So it'll be tough sledding.
Oh, okay, cool. And just for a few more, you want to hear what Thanksgiving's going to look like when you're carving into that turkey?
Ooh, Turkey Day. Who's gonna be taking a bite out of that turkey leg this year?
Yeah, so Detroit always has their home game, and they're going to be hosting the Chicago Bears for a family dinner. We also got the Giants and Cowboys capping off that 4 o'clock hour once you're, settling in, getting into the turkey coma, and then dessert time, Miami, Green Bay.
Ooh, all good matchups, all classic teams here. You just better make sure you eat first so that Dallas game doesn't ruin your appetite.
The Giants are going to be awful this year, man. If they lose in this game, I'm going to be. That just shows that we're having a bad season, if that's the case.
I hope not.
Not only that, though, last year we were introduced to Black Friday football. We get that again. This time, the Raiders versus the Chiefs. Not super compelling. That I'm not too hyped about this one. Kansas City should probably take care of business there, you would assume. And then we get Christmas again. There's the Chiefs and Steelers and Ravens and Texans, both a doubleheader on Christmas. Pretty cool
Those
stuff.
those happen. I think the Christmas games. I think they're both going to be exclusive to Netflix, which is a new one. So Netflix bringing some money to the table to get 2 of these games on their streaming platform. I have no idea how much Netflix even is. I don't have Netflix. I just use someone's password. So
Oh
if you
my gosh.
could help our listeners and let them know how much they expect to pay for this Netflix subscription.
I'm just going to recommend everybody get Red Zone. If you're a fantasy football lover too, Red Zone's where it's at. I sit around for 8 hours on Sunday just watching all the games. And then obviously I try to figure out wherever Dallas, I'm lucky because they're always nationally televised. So
Hmm.
catch them on those.
You said nationally televised, but let's go overseas a little bit. We actually have a game in Germany and as well as a few in London, I believe.
Mm, yeah. What do we have in Germany? Who's playing?
Germany, I know I heard that it was the toilet bowl, and I want to say it's the Giants versus the Panthers as
Oh, ugh.
Munich is really getting our best with that game, the Giants and Panthers. But in London, a team I do want to highlight here is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They play a ton in London. They're practically the London Jaguars. Last year,
Hmm.
they had 2 games there back to back. So they literally stayed in London for 2 whole weeks. And this year, they have 2 games again. So obviously, out of all the teams in the NFL, they travel the most miles at 31,000 miles. And this year, the Steelers are traveling the least at 10,000 miles. So the London Jaguars, that has a little ring to it.
Yeah, and these are kind of snooze games. They're playing the Patriots and they're playing the Bears, I believe. And then the Jets and Vikings are also going to be in London. So interesting though that they travel the most. That definitely makes sense. That checks out, Antonino. Your math's right there, I think.
I try. I try. The math is mathing.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, we have a lot of primetime games to look forward to, a lot of fun little facts that you sprinkled in there. How about third down, third and long, man? Give me the top three hardest and the easiest schedules. We're going to go through this and we're going to just look at pretty quickly who the top three are for both.
I want to remind everyone here that this NFL schedule, it's not just, they don't just pick names out of a hat. They put this in an intensive algorithm, supercomputer machine that generates the best possible matchups for every week of the season. So we're literally getting the best of the best, hypothetically, with every single game. So once it spits out these results and we see the schedules this year, we found out that Cleveland, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh have the 1, 2, and 3 hardest schedules in the
Hmm.
NFL.
Hmm. Wonder
Kind
why
of,
that is.
being that the AFC North has the best division in football, it makes sense, I'd say.
I guess so. Your Bengals, they have a kind of the most favorable matchups in this division. Are they number 4? Do you know?
I'm not sure if they're number 4. However, if you finish last place that prior year, you do get the last place teams in those divisions you're set to play that year. So the team that finishes in last the year prior does have a little softer schedule that
Who,
following year.
wait, so who finished last again in the AFC North? I forgot.
Oh yeah.
Wait, who was it?
So moving on.
Come on, Antonino. Let's play fair. You picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh man, real nice, real nice.
Okay. So we got Cleveland, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. They have the hardest schedules. Makes sense. AFC North is one of the toughest divisions. What about on the Embers? What are the easiest ones that we're looking at here based off of
So
2023 records?
based on 2023 records, those dirty birds with the two-headed quarterback monster down there, they have the
Whoa,
easiest
is that what
schedule.
we're calling them now? They have a two-headed QB monster with Michael Penix and
I was
Kirk
gonna say
Cousins.
I was gonna say two-headed falcon, but I don't know
Uh,
that I didn't know if that quite worked.
yeah,
But
that would be an atrocity if we saw a two-headed falcon.
the two-headed falcon of Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix have the easiest schedule, followed by the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, that division, womp womp. But
Hmm.
then third, I want to highlight the third easiest schedule, the Chicago Bears. Again,
Hmm.
taking place the finishing last place last year. They have the third easiest schedule, and they have an array of weapons. They really ramped up with some additions this year. It's all going to depend on Caleb, and is he going to come through, or is he going to fall flat?
There you have it. You have the hardest and the easiest schedules. Your AFC North looking pretty tough, but if you're in the NFC South, things are looking pretty good for Atlanta, New Orleans, maybe Carolina, and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's right. Watch out for that two-headed falcon. I might
Oh
get you.
yeah, watch out for that. All right, man. Can't believe it. It's almost over. Fourth and forever. And I think this is gonna be fun. We're gonna bring in the resident gambler Antonino DeSandro over there to give us some over under predictions, because now that we have the schedule set, we know where teams are playing. That's kind of going to predict where teams are going to finish. So you want to play this game, man, and you just give me your over unders. I'll give you like the line and you tell me what you think.
Everyone listen closely, because I will be giving 3 locks that you can send in your pay slip now, and you'll be highly rewarded after the football season. So listen close.
3 locks. Okay. I want to know. I don't even know who these could be. But you know what? Let's just start out with the one that I'm assuming you're going to say is a lock. And we'll get it out of the way. That way fans don't have to wait. Your Bengals, man. Cincinnati, their over-unders 10.5. Where are they going to land?
Now, this is not one of my locks. However, I want everyone to know I have 20/20 vision, and I don't see a single loss on this schedule.
Oh my God.
This could be the year. 17-0. They
Oh
might
my
just clean sweep the
gosh.
whole board, folks. 20/20 vision, okay? I swear. I'll show you the records. But pending Joe Burrow's health, we won 8 games last year with Jake Browning, okay? Joe Burrow was hurt to start the year. We got in a roll. We got hurt again. I'm liking what I see. I'm going to say over 10.5 wins.
I'll agree with you, man. But I feel like you are the quintessential definition of delusional fan. That is for sure.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
I suppose so. All right, I want to jump to the NFC. Let's get my team out of the way too. Dallas over under. Oh, look at that, 10.5. Just like your Bengals.
Okay. Well, you know, I don't know who the running back is. Oh, wait. That's right. They picked up their old friendly running back from a few years ago. Who was that?
Zeke, the guy, he's top 5 in the past 10 years now for combined rushing yards, man. That's impressive.
All right. Between him and Prescott, we're seeing a little bit of a time warp here, going back in time. But I'm going to say under 10.5 wins. I think that division got better. Under 10.5 wins.
Ooh. Nah, over for sure, bro. Over for sure. And I'm not even going to give explanation. I looked at the schedule, Antonino, and I didn't see a single loss on there.
Hey, I hear you there. The schedules they play tricks with your eyes, I guess.
It's easy sledding for these Cowboys. But all right, enough about our teams, man. Let's focus on what the game, the chain movement wants to hear. Baltimore, over under 11.
11 was my response exactly. The changing of the guard is going to happen this year in the AFC. Baltimore and Kansas City are going to have a regression. Okay, so
gosh.
under 11 wins for both Baltimore and Kansas City. I think their number's 11.5. I'm just going to get that out the way. Under 11.5 for the Chiefs, under 11 for Baltimore.
No. What? Maybe for the Ravens. They lost some key pieces on defense. I think Chiefs over 11.5. You can't bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid, dude.
That division got better. That's all I have to
Did
say.
it? I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I like those. Maybe, how about we keep it in the AFC North? What about Pittsburgh? Over under 8.5.
They upgraded the QB position. They had a great draft, and it pains me to say this, but they're going to get over 8.5 wins this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Very, very sad to say, but I say it how I see it.
Jeez, that's surprising to hear from you. I would have to agree. Yeah, they were a quarterback away from being an actual contender last year. I mean, it's surprising their defense kept them in it as long as it did. Okay, let me hop back to the NFC. I want to give, love to the DMV and focus on those Commanders. They had a big draft here. So Washington, they're over under 6.5.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my 3 locks.
Ooh.
If you like money, which most of you do, go put a bet on the over for 6.5. These Washington Commanders / Redskins are going to win way over 6.5 games. They're going to have a breakout season, new coach, new plan in place. They're going to be up there in this division. They're going to really fight this thing out till the end of the year.
I'm shocked. I would say, you know what? That actually, I could see them getting 7 or 8 wins. Yeah. Maybe not as shocked as I could have been. But I want to hear your other locks, man. Who were they? Give it to us here.
My other 2 locks, I'm going to start off with the easiest one of all 3. The Buffalo Bills are currently slated with an over-under of 10.5 wins.
Oh, no way.
All right.
I think I know where you're going.
I'm going to slam the under. There is no chance this team's going 11-6 this year after they lost the pieces they did. They don't have any receivers that I have any confidence in. They might have picked up one in the draft and another free agent just now. It's not going to do the trick. Under 10.5 wins, slam it.
Yeah, I would agree. And you had one more, right?
I have one more. And this one, I'm going back to the Mile High City. Those Denver Broncos, they're poised, okay? Over under of 6. I'm placing my bet on the over. Okay, Bo Nix is the new quarterback in town. All right, and it's no more "Let's Ride" or whatever Russell Wilson used to say. Now this is Bo Nix territory. I don't know. We got to think of a better nickname than that. But this is Bo Nix country now, and they got a running back. They got weapons there too. I feel like 6 wins is easy, very attainable. They should get more than 6 wins. So those are my locks. Buffalo Bills under 10.5, Denver Broncos over 6 wins, and the Washington Commanders / Redskins over 6.5 wins.
You heard it here from the resident gambler himself, Antonino, the Podfather DeSandro. He's saying throw your money on that Buffalo under, Denver over, and Washington over. We'll see how it plays out, man. Let me know if you won any money.
We will take those winnings to the Super Bowl, but until that happens, as always, we'll see you on the next one. The next one is the best one.
That's right. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of the First and 30 podcast. Until next week, remember, when your number's called, no matter the odds, just go for it.